I decided to focus my interview on my grandmother's experience of living in Belize. She had at this point already met my grandpa, and they together decided to move to Belize as archaeology students to study archaeology there.
We went south, and in order to get to the area that we wanted to go to, we had to go on a very small boat, which took 22 hours. And there were people sleeping in hammocks. There were some animals on the boat. It was crazy. From there to get to the village that we wanted to, which was a Maya village, a very traditional, where the women wore the Maya blouses and long skirts, very, very colorful. And to get there, we got on the back of a truck, which had boards across, and we just, hung on to the back of the boards on the truck. 45 minutes on a very bumpy, winding road up into the village. And we stayed in a little house, and I remember walking into this little house, and the first thing I saw was a huge tarantula, which scared me to death.
I asked my grandmother to explain to me what daily life had been like there.
The culture of the village, what the men did, which mostly was raise their own crops. And the women would get up early and make tortillas and feed the men, and then they would go off into the fields. So I was left with, mostly children and women. And I made some good friends, and I would do what the women did. I went to the river. We had no running water. And then we went back in different times. We did not have a child that first year. Both of us had malaria. It was very challenging. There were a couple of times when our little house was broken into. And we were, a little bit on edge about it, but at the same time, we made friends with the people in the town. And we just generally were curious about people, and people were curious about us. And it was a very interesting year, except for the malaria.
Later on in the interview, she talked again about the time that our house had gotten broken into.
Well, that was a summer that we spent, actually. We had children at that point, and I took the children to the market to buy fish and vegetables, and I came back to the house we were staying in Belize City, and found that one of the windows had been broken. And the people that had the two guys that had broken into it had put as many things into a pillowcase as they possibly could. And they had taken the children's toys, they had taken a bottle of rum, they had taken the little shortwave radio, they had taken a camera. But they heard me come in the front door, and they dropped everything on this right where they were and shimmied down the pipes from the bathroom upstairs.
Lastly, I asked her to explain to me what it was like having children in Belize and what their experience was like there.
We had school from sort of like 8:30 in the morning till 11:30, and then there was a break, and then we would start again maybe about 1 o'clock and go for another hour. And the kids had a great time because we lived right on the water, and they had a lot of friends who spoke Creole. And Christopher, your dad in particular, learned Creole, and we didn't know that he was speaking Creole until he came in one day and he said, "Me want water," which means I want water. And we said, "Chris, we didn't know you were speaking Creole." And we asked him to tell us some stories in Creole, which he did.